Good character. Yesterday we did the first hadith as well, and I do see some new faces, so I will go over the first hadith that we did yesterday. عن جابر أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إن من أحبكم إلي وأقربكم مني مجلسا يوم القيامة أحاسنكم أخلاقا. Verily, the most beloved person on the day of judgment to me. Young man, put your shoes on the shirak. On the day of judgment, the most closest and most beloved person to me on the day of judgment, أحاسنكم أخلاقا, will be that person that will have excellent character. So part of being a good Muslim is having good character. وَإِنَّ أَبْغَضَكُمْ إِلَيَّ وَأَبْعَدَكُمْ مِنِّي مَجْلِسًا يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ, and the most disliked person and the farthest person from me on the day of judgment, يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ, on the day of judgment, will be الثَّرْثَارُونَ وَالْمُتَشَدِّقُونَ وَالْمُتَفَيْهِقُونَ. Then the Sahaba Kiram asked, they said, O Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, قَدْ عَلِمْنَا الثَّرْثَارِينَ وَالْمُتَشَدِّقِينَ فَمَا الْمُتَفَيْهِقُونَ. They said, O Rasulullah, we understand who are the ثَرْثَارِينَ and مُتَشَدِّقِينَ. Who are the مُتَفَيْهِقُونَ? Who are the مُتَفَيْهِقُونَ? So this term, مُتَفَيْهِقُونَ, we did yesterday, we covered yesterday. It means prideful people. And this is where we ended yesterday. We have two words left to discuss of this first hadith. Hasib, it's a fly. Stop messing around. So, al-Thartharin and Mutashaddiqeen. These are categories of people, these are types of people. So, Thartharin means an arrogant person. An arrogant person. So a person who tries to overpower others based on how this person carries himself or herself. So as-Thartharun are people that are arrogant. So the closest people on the day of judgment will be the people that will have the best character, and the most disliked people to Rasulullah ﷺ on the day of judgment, and the farthest away from him, number one will be mutafayhiqun, which means prideful people. So we talked about this yesterday in detail. To have pride, to believe that you are better than someone else, is implying that you're prideful. You believing that you're better than someone else means you're prideful, and that pride is not going to allow you to enter Jannah. Al-Thartharin, arrogant people. Arrogance. To not accept, like for example, for you not to accept that you're wrong. To impose your views onto other people. Not accepting the possibility that you may be wrong. So Rasulullah ﷺ mentioned three things, three types of people. One we covered, prideful. Don't have pride. Number two, mutashaddiqun, those people that are arrogant. They impose their views onto other people. And number three, mutashaddiqun. What this means is annoyingly being talkative. Some people have this very bad habit of constantly blabbering their mouth. They always have to say something. They always have something to say about anything that's happening in existence. That is a person who is from amongst these people, mutashaddithin. So to speak unknowingly, that they're just constantly talking. Constantly they're talking, just blabbering them out, just going and going and going, like the Energizer Bunny, right? They keep going and going and going and going. This is a very, very bad habit to have. And to have this habit where a person is continuously talking, what this means is that this person has this major insecurity that this person feels that I need to be heard all the time. Number one. Implying that they are so important that they always have to be heard. And number two, another disease, another spiritual disease that results from this, or this results from, vice versa, is the fact that a person thinks that he or she is always right. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us, "Man samata najah." Whoever stays silent is successful. Whoever remains silent is successful. In other words, the less you speak, the better off you are. Now, this does not mean that, okay, you just be quiet and then you're living your life as a mime, right? You're feeling around and you're not even saying any words or not saying anything. No. You speak when you need to, but see, there's a difference between speaking when you need to speak and being quiet. Big difference. And then the difference between these two situations versus having to speak all the time. So, you are attending this class for your benefit. And for my benefit as well. I'm benefiting from these Hadeeth myself. So, the goal is for you and I to judge ourselves. Don't allow shaitan to encourage you to judge the next person. That every time you come across someone like this, you say to yourself, oh, this is what was being discussed in that hadith on Tuesday. And this is that person. No, that's not the point. The point is for you to keep yourself in check and ask yourself, are you from amongst these people? Because that's the point of learning. That's the point of why you come here, so that you learn this about yourself. You self-assess yourself. You ask yourself these tough questions. Am I amongst these people? And this is what's going to allow you to benefit from the Quran and Sunnah. Is that you humbling yourself enough in a way that when something comes across, like you come across something that you're not supposed to be doing or supposed to be doing, however it works, for you to put yourself on the spot and ask yourself this question. Okay, Yasir, am I doing this or am I not doing this? Am I supposed to be doing this and I'm not doing this? Or am I not doing this and I'm supposed to be doing it? However that works out. So I don't want to digress and go off topic here. Whenever we come across these kind of things, people that are discussed in the Quran and Sunnah, for example here, people that will be far away from Rasulullah ﷺ and they will be disliked by Rasulullah ﷺ, you now know that these people are also people that blabbermouth, right? Just always just rumbling, just going at it all the time. So the point of you learning this is not for you to judge the next person. Are you guys with me? You guys understand what I'm saying? So it's very important that you ask yourself these questions. You and I don't have the time to judge the next person. So just as a brief recap of this first hadith. Hadith number 1, the main message behind this hadith is the closest person on the Day of Judgment to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the most beloved person on the Day of Judgment to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is going to be the person with the best character. So that is what you learn from this. And contrary to that, the most disliked and the most far away person, the person who will be the farthest away from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and disliked will be that person that has these three qualities, or not necessarily one person has to have all these three qualities. No, generally speaking, any person that has any of these qualities will be that unfortunate person on that Day of Judgment. And number 1, as-sarsarun, right, are those people, the first category of people that will be far away from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and disliked by him are those people that are arrogant. They are not humble enough to accept what they're doing is wrong. They're constantly opposing their views onto other people. Number 2, Ayan, get out of the class and go sit on the couch outside. Get out. Actually, sit over here. Sit over here. Quickly, sit over here. Now sit down quietly, you understand? Behave. So, as I was saying, an arrogant person, a person who's constantly imposing his views onto other people. Number 2, mutashaddiqun, that person who is constantly talking. And why is this person constantly talking? Because this person has this major insecurity. For some reason, this person needs to be heard all the time. Don't be that person that always have to be heard. The world is bigger than you. Don't think the world revolves around you and you have to be heard all the time. Yes, there are times to speak up and you have to get your point across, but not in this manner that you're just constantly just going. Energizer. You know, the buddy just keeps going, and no, that's not the point. And don't be that person who thinks they are Mr. or Mrs. Right, that you can never be wrong. Humble yourself. And what you can do to stay away from this kind of quality in your life is follow the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where he said, "Man samata najah." A person who is silent is successful. I could guarantee that almost all of us here today, if we reflect and we think of the things that we've said, chances are we regret what we have said versus remaining silent. We are better off remaining silent and not get into a confrontation or to engage with the person. And here's another thing, not to digress, but just because someone wants to engage with you in some kind of argument or fight does not mean that person is worth your energy or time. You don't have to pick a fight all the time, right? It's just not simply worth it. It's like somebody wants to say something to you, somebody wants to offend you and say things to you. Just for that person to get some kind of reaction out of you, It's not worth your time. And number three, mutafayhiqun are prideful people. Pride is a disease of the heart. To believe you are better than the next person for whatever reason. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala judges who is best from amongst us, not based on anything except your taqwa. The more God-fearing you are, that's how closer you are to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to judge you. I am not better than you, you are not better than me, except because of taqwa. If you have more taqwa than me, then you are better than me. If I have more taqwa than you, then I am better than you. That's the standard. Understand? Second hadith, وعن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال سئل رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم عن أكثر ما يدخل الناس الجنة فقال تقوى الله وحسن الخلق وسئل عن أكثر ما يدخل الناس النار فقال الفم والفرج أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. This second hadith is narrated by Abu Hurairah رضي الله تعالى عنه. He said, سئل رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم was asked. Somebody posed a question. And by the way, yesterday I said clearly that every time you hear the name sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you are expected by Allah, not from me, you are expected by Allah to say sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And I don't hear enough of you saying that. And that is part of the etiquettes of Hadeeth, or his name in general. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Good. So don't make me remind you guys again, because I'm not here to remind you guys of every small little thing in existence. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was asked about the most عن أكثر ما يدخل الناس الجنة. What will be the biggest thing that will allow the most people to enter Jannah? Meaning, what will allow most people to enter? What will allow a lot of people to enter Jannah? ما يدخل الناس الجنة. What will be what will be one of the greatest reasons that will allow people to enter Jannah? فقال Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, تقوى الله وحسن الخلق. Two things, he said. The number one thing that will allow a lot of people to enter Jannah will be taqwa. That quality that makes you aware of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wherever you are. You're alone at night, or you're with thousands of people during the day. It should not matter. You should always be aware of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is what taqwa is, to be conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For example, when your friends are eating haram at school for lunch, and even though no one is watching you, for you to still eat halal, that's taqwa. I know the struggle is real, because as I say to my students, I just did not fall out of the sky and hey, look, Ustadi's here. No, I was born and raised here. I know the struggle. I went to school just like you guys did, and I remember how it was when in school lunches everybody would be eating pepperoni pizza and all this kind of crazy stuff, and I would be sitting there with my PB&J sandwich or fish stick sandwich. This is like the only 2 options I have. Right? You guys are lucky. You guys get to grow up with like pastrami and all that good stuff. Right? I grew up with PB&J and fish sticks in a brown paper bag. But my point is, I'm giving you a simple example. What is taqwa? Is when everybody is eating haram around you, in the school cafeteria, you still choose to eat halal. That is taqwa. That the reason why you're not eating haram is because you are aware of Allah, and you say to yourself that, you know what? Mom is not here, dad is not here, grandma is not here, my elders are not here to stop me, to prevent me from doing this, but Allah is watching me. That's taqwa. What is taqwa? Is praying your salah by yourself when you're alone, or when you're the only Muslim in that area or in that environment. For example, coming back from school, it's still Zuhr time. Do you pray your Zuhr or you don't pray your Zuhr? That's based on your taqwa. Another example of taqwa, and we'll move on after this, is those of you that are supposed to be fasting in the month of Ramadan, for you to continue to fast and not cheat while you're fasting. No one's looking, oh, there goes my Gatorade. Oh, no one's watching? Okay, fruit roll up, right? Or whatever you guys are into these days. Okay? That's taqwa. Taqwa is maintaining integrity in your fasting. That just because mom and dad are not there, or any other Muslim is not there, does not mean you're not going to fast. That's taqwa. So, that awareness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is one of the reasons that you will be able to enter Jannah. وَحُسْنُ الْخُلُقِ, and good character. Good character will be one of the main reasons that people will enter Jannah. Good character. And those of you that were here yesterday, and we talked about that hadith, I discussed that lengthy hadith of who's a poor person. Hassan, you want to be here? You don't want to be here. If you don't want to be here, get out. You want to be here? So stop messing around. Yes. Yes, go. You can, but you're supposed to say, may I? Yeah, speak some English. Don't speak American. May I? Can I? Of course you can. Okay, moving on. So, being aware of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to have good character. These two things are two qualities that will allow you to enter Jannah. وَسُئِلَ عَنْ أَكْثَرِ مَا يُدْخِلُ النَّاسَ النَّارَ فَقَالَ الْفَمُ وَالْفَرْجُ. And then Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was asked, someone put this question to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and the question was, what will be one of the major reasons that people will enter Jahannam? What will be one of the main reasons that people will be sent to the hellfire? Two reasons. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, their mouth. That's what the Arabic says, your mouth. So you're like, Ustad, you like, what are you saying? What? Mouth? Well, your tongue. A lot of people get in trouble because of their tongues. A lot of people will be sent to Jahannam because of the things that they would say. And now, if you really want to look at it, you backbite with your tongue. You curse with your tongue. You accuse people of things that they did not do with your tongue. You say bad things with your tongue. Like all of these things that you are doing is you're talking. How many times people give in to backbiting? Just because A and B are backbiting about person C, then The person walking by is like, oh Allah, ijri bhi hoya. This went down as well. Right? Accusing people, slandering people for things they did not do. And it's all because of the tongue. See, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Yasin, اليوم نختم على أفواههم. Today, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, on the day of judgment, today I will seal the mouth, the tongue. اليوم نختم على أفواههم وتكلمنا أيديهم. Their hands will testify against them. وأرجلهم, and their feet will testify against them. Of what? بما كانوا يكسبون, of what they used to do. So if you want to be a successful Muslim and Muslimah in this world and hereafter, then learn to control your tongue. Remember my words. Just because you're able to say whatever you want, whenever you want, does not mean you have the right to say whatever you want, whenever you want. Sayyid, hold on to that paper. It's the third time it flew out. Again, just because you're capable of saying something does not give you the right to say whatever you want, whenever you want. Do you guys see the big difference? A person that speaks without thinking of the consequences or the implications of what he or she is about to say, just because they're able to say it, is nothing different than a person who's physically capable of going around slapping people. You see the comparison? Just because you're capable of slapping people across their faces does not mean you're allowed to do so. Similarly, just because you're capable of saying whatever you want does not give you the right to say whatever you want. You see the comparison? Are you guys with me or no? Did I lose you guys? Just because you're capable of kicking the next person does not give you the right to do so. Similarly, just because you're capable of speaking does not mean you have the right to speak. I hope you guys are with me on this one. And the second reason why people will go to Jahannam is because of bad actions. Third hadith, وعن عائشة رضي الله عنها قالت قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Last time I checked, it was Tuesday. You guys are sitting here as if it's like a Friday night. You guys are like half dead. It's Tuesday. Wake up! Come on! You guys didn't go to school. You guys, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. There you go. إن من أكمل المؤمنين إيمانا أحسنهم خلقا وألطفهم بأهله. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Verily, the people that have the most complete iman are people that have the best of character. In other words, when you have good character, when you have excellent character, that means that your iman is complete. That means you are a complete Muslim. good character completes you. Just as cleanliness completes you. Just as serving your guests completes you. And the list goes on and on and on. But the point is, if you want to be a complete Muslim, a complete mu'min, or mu'mina, or Muslimah, then you ought to have good character. وَأَلْطَفُهُمْ بِأَهْلِهِ, and the one who is the most kind with one's family. So the first category of people that are said to have complete iman are people that have excellent character. And so far we've learned excellent character means not to speak excessively, not to have pride, not to be arrogant. And speaking excessively also falls under controlling your tongue, etc. To have awareness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These are the things that we've covered in the first two ahadith so far in the series. وَأَلْطَفُهُمْ بِأَهْلِهِ, and to be the most kind to your family. Some people are kind with friends, but treat their own family members harshly. Person A has a friend and a brother. Don't be that person, like person A, that is treating his friend nicer than his own brother. Understand? Hadith number 4. عن عائشة رضي الله عنها قالت سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول إن المؤمن لا يدرك بحسن الخلق درجة الصائم والقائم. This is a very powerful hadith. It is narrated by Aisha radiyallahu ta'ala anha that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said that a person with good character is like that person who is constantly fasting and is standing at night in prayer every night. What does that mean? What this means is a person who has excellent character receives so much reward by having that excellent character that it's as if this person is fasting every day and this person is standing at night and praying tahajjud all night. That's the type of reward which is there when you have excellent character. You guys see the magnitude or the value of having excellent character, right? By you having good character, by you having good akhlaq, good mannerisms, you deal with people in the right manner that we're going to cover more inshallah, is that there's so much reward in doing so that it is as if you are fasting every day and you are worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala every night. How do you get such reward? By having good character. And again, I'm mentioning this just for you students to remember clearly, is that so far what we covered, the definition of good character is what? Controlling your tongue. And for saying to control his paper in class. It's not part of good character, by the way. Okay, the point is, controlling your tongue, not being arrogant, which means being humble. Right? To be humble is part of having good character. To control your tongue is part of good character, which means to speak less. Right? To have taqwa, to be aware of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is part of having good character, etc. We have 2 minutes left. Let me just talk about something else about good character. Good character is not something that you say, okay, I checked off on this and I'm done. Good character also means to be the better person in situations. And some of you may say, Ustazi, I thought you said you can't think that you could be better than someone else. What I mean by this is obviously not being prideful, but what is meant by this is that when there's a situation where someone is trying to hurt you, someone is trying to be disrespectful, and there's this gridlock that neither sides are making things better, then to be the better person to initiate communication, that is also good character. If you haven't experienced such things in life so far, then I'm here to tell you is that you will come across situations where there will be difference of opinion, there will be miscommunication, people will wrong you, people will do bad things to you, but good character calls for a person to forgive and forget. Now there's a difference between forgiving and forgetting and allowing people to walk all over you. That's not the point. You don't live your life as a person who's foolish enough that allows other people to take advantage of you. But when you have the upper hand in a situation, for you to make the choice that makes you a better Muslim, to make that choice. There will be situations in life where someone wronged you. Like I'll give you like a life scenario, and I've asked some students before, and they've admitted that they basically messed up in this regard. Is that someone who did something bad to you, okay? And that person needed your help. My question was to my students is that, did you still help that person or not? Now, depending on what it was, okay, allowing someone to copy your homework is not helping them, right? Or giving someone something which is useless is not helping them. Like a cheat code for some kind of game. You guys still use cheat codes? No? Okay. The point is, these kind of foolish things, that's not helping someone. I'm talking about someone who wronged you, someone who messed up by disrespecting you, saying something about you, for hurting you directly, indirectly, for hurting those that you love, and that person needed your help, the question is, do you still help that person or not? Good character asks, good character calls for, yes, you still help that person. That's good character. To not help that, to refuse to help that person when that person is in need, just because, no, fold that paper and put it away. Fold it. To refuse to help someone that is in need just because they messed up with you, that is not good character. Understand? That is what is meant by being the better person. Again, this may not have happened to you yet, but when someone wrongs you, like they messed up, they did something bad to you, and few days or few months or few years later, they need your help, like they really need your help, and you have the upper hand, you have two choices. One choice is to help that person for the pleasure of Allah. That's good character. To refuse to help that person, that is not good character. And I hope you guys make the right choices in that regard, because there are countless examples in the life of Rasulullah ﷺ and in the lives of Sahaba, the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, is that they faced so many situations like that they were wrong, but they still chose to help the person because they were a good Muslim. Class is over. I need you guys to be back in the masjid by 5:10. Don't start coming inside. Be in the masjid by 5:10.